Sarah, what have you done?
Kerrigan, the die you cast. This is the last day. Your swarm darkens the sky of any planet.
Forget Minsk. Forget all of it.
When we are done here, I will return to my people and accept their judgment.
Command, we've found Kerrigan. She's holed up in a Zerg base.
I made my peace long ago.
Consider it done. For ire. Indeed.
What's up? What's up? It is FSL. Yeah, it's FSL, guys. FSL is live. I'm here with Deepu. What's up, Deepu? No, he's muted. Well, ET is the real caster. What's up, ET? I was just messing with you guys.
Doing pretty well. How are you doing?
I'm good. Welcome back. We hadn't seen you in a while. This is our main caster, ET.
Yeah, we kept running into holidays whenever I was scheduled to cast.
That's right.
Thanksgiving, and then I guess you can't exactly count Atlanta as a holiday, but I do.
Yeah. So we do have two players that we want to get ahead of schedule. Deepu has something to do, and then we also have Vales, who's all the way in UK. So it's very late for him. Anyone know what time it is there? It's super late, guys.
I think he said it just past midnight for him.
Yeah, that's insane. That's super late. But he's dedicated. He's here. Tell us about the matches, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Deepu, if I remember right, was pretty strong in the previous season. Of course, last season in Code it was pretty much all criminal was the storyline of that season for them, but he did pretty well. And then Cyan, I mean, he was a Code S player 2 or 3 seasons ago, so he's pretty towards the top of Code A. So I could definitely see him taking it, but I think it's going to be an exciting match either way. And then of course Vales and Neutrophil. I think we probably give the advantage to Neutrophil, of course, since he's won every season I think he's pretty much ever competed in. And a very strong player, but Vales could surprise us.
Yeah, definitely could surprise us. Well, I'm loading up the SC2 now. Let's actually bring him in and talk about the maps. So let's bring in Deepu here, and I got Deepu is now on. What's up, Deepu?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
And of course, Cyan is off screen, but I mean, you can start interviewing Mr. Deepu here first, I guess.
Yeah, so how are you feeling about this match going up against Cyan here?
Pretty hyped for it. Pretty hyped for it. I got some stuff I want to try out. I didn't quite get to try out last time against Hyper Turtle Wednesday, so looking forward to that.
Yeah, looking at it so far, it looks like you've only played one match, but you did manage to win that 2-0, so obviously a pretty good start to the season. How are you feeling about your overall chances with the opponents you have in the group?
I mean, Cyan is, pretty good, so that is kind of scary. Let me pull up the bracket real quick on my computer. Give me a minute. I have it. Hang on. Let's see. Yeah, Cyan's gonna be a tough match, so many people I don't really recognize. I don't remember Gray, who he is. And I don't really remember the games against Mighty Ant. But yeah, I think out of what's left, I'm definitely the most scared about this game. but I have not lost a series yet this season. So I mean, it's okay if I take a loss here. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a game of endurance to make it through the groups here, not just one good performance. It's over a period of months.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's good to hear. So you're feeling all right. Have you been playing a decent amount lately, or are you kind of
I mean, I
feeling
have my
relaxed?
game on Wednesday, so there's that. And then I just played my first ladder game in like a week, I think. So, that's what we're looking at right now. Um, so pretty ready, yeah.
Very nice. Okay. And then Cyan, uh, assuming he can hear me at this point, how are you feeling about today's match?
Feel pretty good. Deepu, he's really the one I kind of worry about more often than not in this in our division because he's a man of so many talents. He can ling rush you early, roach rush you early, or he'll just play a straight up macro game. So I got to be on the lookout for what he exactly wants to do, and I know he wants to get out of here quick, so he may be rushing tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to play the situation after all. You got a plane to catch. There can only be 30 minutes of games, so there's only so much they can do. Makes sense. How are you feeling about your overall chances in the season thus far? It looks like you've gone 1-1 so far, so not a whole lot of series, but doing all right. How are you feeling about making it out overall?
I feel pretty confident making it out. Kind of like what Deepu said. I haven't seen. I think I watched the one with Gray. I got 2-0'd by Little Reaper. I did beat Hyper Turtle and I did beat Noob Lord, so I think that puts me in a pretty good position. I still got to play Archaic, which is going to be tough as well.
Yeah, absolutely. The Archaic, a bit of a titan of the Code A, I'd say. So makes a lot of sense. Well, I think that's all my questions. KJ, did you have anything for our players before we get going?
Not really. I just want to see them play. So good luck to both of you guys. And we can talk about the maps. We'll see you on the other side.
Good luck, good luck.
Alright, so now that they're not here, let's show the map selections. What do you think? I think 2-1 Deepu. What do you think?
I think Cyan. I'll say Cyan will take it 2-1. It's going to be a close one.
I'm sorry, I said that incorrectly. I meant Cyan 2-1. I even typed that on chat, so I didn't change it because of you.
I see. Okay, good. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, I think Cyan, he's the seasoned vet of the FSL. Deepu, I think it's his second or third season, I think. So he's definitely improved quite a bit. Had a very strong run, I think, 2 seasons ago. So he's obviously got what it takes.
There you go.
You're watching FSL Season 6.
We are spawning in the lower left-hand corner of Data C. We've got our red Protoss player. He is
Cyan.
And his opponent spawning in as Zerg in the upper right. The pink Zerg. He is
Deepu.
And I didn't actually see if Deepu selected Zerg or if he just rolled it. I would not be surprised if he selected it. He plays random sometimes, but I think Zerg is his strongest race.
He's been playing Zerg
an-
the last few matches, so I think that's what he's going to do. He said something about switching if the Zerg doesn't go too well, so don't be surprised.
Ah, there you go. Similar, I remember the first Sidestorm Cup I ever went to, True was there, and he'd play like Protoss or Terran until he lost a game, and then he'd just go to Zerg and wipe the floor with whoever took a game off of him. Anyways, Data C, fairly large map. Got a pretty nice 4-base setup for Protoss and Terran to be able to defend on. Or Zerg, I guess, if you're like camping with lurkers, but that's not very common. So we do have the Overlords coming out across the map and a pool before gas out of Deepu here. He's just chasing that probe away. Looks like it's going to be a pretty quick expansion. Macro out of both players here. I'll have to see. I think Cyan is a pretty big fan of Stargate openers. I don't remember seeing too many like adept plays from him outside of the 2v2s. And he definitely feels a lot more aggressive in 2 versus 2, which is not terribly uncommon. It's a very, very, very strong to be an aggressive player in 2v2. So not shocking to see a difference there. Checking for proxy hatcheries is Cyan, by the way. Send a probe out to each of those expansions. Just make sure there's not a hatchery proxy. I would have to guess is what he was doing there.
He's Deepu, man. He's worried about Deepu.
Yeah, I mean, he did say you got to be prepared for anything, and he is preparing for anything. Probably wouldn't be worrying too much because he does have a probe on the other side of the map if it had scouted that third base, but he sent it to the wrong base. So we'll only just now see it. Still nothing too bad, and we should be able to see what the tech is relatively quickly as a stalker. Actually, is this a 1 gas opening, or did he just... Oh, he's got 2 out of 3 on each gas. I was going to say, he's got way too little gas for just making a stalker, you know? Normally you'd have like another 100, 150 gas if you're just making a stalker.
He got his gas late, by the way. That's probably why, maybe. So. Yeah,
late gas. Only mining 2 out of 3 on each for a little while there. I guess just prioritizing the minerals pretty heavily. Man, now I'm curious if he went for like the 17 Nexus thing that people were doing a while back. I can't remember who it was that started that. It's like Hero or some Korean, I think, creator maybe. I don't know. Anyways. Does get a Stargate, just heavily delayed, and takes a faster third gas on his natural base than you normally see. So kind of compensating for the loss in gas mining by taking that slightly quicker. Does get a shield battery. You can see he's playing pretty carefully here, getting a stalker, shield battery, adding on extra units, going up to 3 units out of those gateways, and a very fast third gateway as well.
I gotta say, I'm impressed with both of them. They're playing somewhat the standard builds as if they've been watching pro games. Because, you know these guys. You know, Cyan is kind of off. Sometimes he'll just 4-gate because he's like, ah, screw it. But they seem to be doing the standard thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Just going for the classic, really. And it's doing well so far for both of them. I mean, no real advantages have been gained in this game thus far. I do got to say, for Cyan, you know, as a Protoss player, if you're playing extra safe like he is and getting that battery and adding on the second gateway so fast and everything like that, and there is no aggression from the Zerg, then you've sort of given up your ability to harass the Zerg with like oracles or something like that. I mean, we can see the first Stargate unit's only just now coming out almost 4 minutes, 30 seconds into the game. And it's even going to be a Void Ray. So that'll be able to snipe a couple Overlords, but you're not going to have that opportunity to force out extra Queens or lost mining time or even killing some drones here and there. So just the fact that he played it a little extra safe because it is Deepu and Deepu's just droning as hard as he can does give a slight edge to Deepu already. We do see the spores now going down for Deepu. He did see that Void Ray, of course, taking down his Overlord. As, oh wow, Deepu's doing a Queen Walk-ish.
Wow, welcome to last year, huh?
Yeah, only 3 Queens. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of Void Rays, but Cyan will get the scout off now on what's going on here. With the shield battery already on the high ground, I mean, he's got a couple stalkers, some adepts as well. And Deepu's going to try and push creep over so that he can actually transfuse. I do like that, but of course you're trading out time to get transfuses, which means the Protoss is going to get even more units out. I mean, Cyan, though, is not reacting as heavily to this as I would have liked, maybe. I mean, he's got 700, 800 minerals floating and no extra shield batteries on the way, just going to have the 1 battery. He has warped in extra stalkers, so I think this should be a hold. But, I mean, denying the third base right now is Deepu, who's comfortably on 3 himself, can go up to 4 as well. He is continuing to just make roaches, though, and I don't know if he's really going to be able to break Cyan here. Definitely really like to see extra shield batteries, though. That feels like a mistake.
Well, he only has 3 Queens, so the Void Ray is really the key here, right? The 2.
Yeah, Void Rays could overpower the Queens, although they can transfuse now with that creep spread. Third Void Ray now coming on the way. If Deepu takes too long, there will be Blink, which can make quite a bit of difference. And without any Ravagers, that's really the the explosive power of the Roach Queen walk wasn't really the Roaches or the Queens, it's the Ravagers. The Biles are able to take down shield batteries and things like that so quickly and force units out of the wall off so Zerglings can make their way in, things like that. But as it is right now, I think he's realized it. You can see he's gone up, taking some extra gases on his third base, but it's a little slow. Still, though, it is 64 army supply to 52, so he's slightly up, but, I mean, not as much as you'd maybe like to see. Although Cyan, of course, is warping in a lot of Zealots with no charge upgrade, so
This looks
they're
good
only
for
going to be
Deepu, man.
marginally
He has a
useful.
fourth hatchery.
Yeah, he's definitely containing here, but at some point, Cyan should be able to break out here. Pulling a lot of money, though, for sure. And, I mean, with how many Zealots he's warping in, he's basically resigning himself to not break out until he's got charge.
Oh.
Which is going to be as he, dang, loses a Void Ray to the Biles even.
That was...
Yeah, I mean,
should
you're
not
basically
happen.
saying, yeah, it really shouldn't. And, I mean, that's one thing that I've still struggled to learn is just hold positioning your army in situations like this. So they don't kind of walk forward.
Oh, man.
But going forward now, like I said, no charge on the way, which means breaking out is going to be such a difficult task here. And, yeah, I mean, losing pretty much all the Zealots without accomplishing much of
my
anything. Biles do rain down, kill the Void Rays, heavily damage the Stalkers. There's no shield battery overcharge on the way. As I mentioned, did not add on extra batteries despite having the money for it. And just not the cleanest defense here out of Cyan. Not dead yet, but with those extra Biles raining down, yeah, I mean, this is pretty much going to do it, I think. 5 bases up for Deepu right now.
Yeah, I gotta
He's
say,
got-
man, this is not Cyan-like. He's not dodging the Biles. He's not making the shield battery. It's as if he's playing with, you know, a disadvantaged mouse issue, right?
Yeah, that was definitely kind of odd. It felt not as as I've come to expect in a lot of ways. Perhaps just not warmed up, though. I mean, if you look at the graphs, though, he was pretty much even on workers. He's got way better upgrade value, as Deepu didn't even have roach speed, and he's got blink, he's got charge. His army value is higher going into that fight as well, but I mean, when half your army's Zealots and you don't have charge yet, it just feels very painful watching a Protoss army that's made up of a lot of Zealots walk in like 30 seconds before charge is going to be done. You know?
Yeah, there's a lot of things here he could have done better, but for some reason, maybe, like you said, right, he's not warmed up.
Yeah, there's a lot of possible reasons for it, of course, so unfortunate, but he's not out of it just yet. I mean, like I said, he kept pace in the macro with Deepu, really, even on 2 bases versus 5 there at the end. Because Deepu didn't really have a worker count behind that as much. And I think if he'd managed to get up to charge and then break out, he might have been able to just kind of steamroll across the map. I mean, there's like 20-some Zealots. He probably has a couple more Warpins after that. And kind of just overwhelm the army there. I mean, no roach speed means that the roaches are not going to be able to run away from the Zealots there if they have charge, so you're either standing and fighting or slowly losing half your army running across the map. But pushes out maybe a little too early, although it may have just been too much in the way of units. It is a pretty small ramp you're trying to push out of a choke point down into roaches with, even if you do have charge. So a rough situation for sure.
Alright, well, we're on Inside and Out, guys, for Game 2.
You're watching FSL Season 6.
Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of Inside and Out, it is our pink Zerg player. He is. And in the upper right, the red Protoss player. He's down 0-1. Can he tie it up? He is.
Cyan.
And getting a wall on the high ground here, actually. Oh, see, that's a weird pathing with the probe.
That's really weird what he's doing. Unless he's cannon rushing, man.
Yeah, I was wondering, but then he's not sending anything to make
He's
in his
it's
first buildings. Yeah.
This doesn't make any sense. What he's doing, and it's like he's like, oh no, I don't want to deal with the queen walk. I'm really at a loss here.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, even just the timing of the probe on that, it's like watching someone try to play while submerged in maple syrup, you know? It's like, this is very slow.
Yep.
I mean, he had like over 200 minerals floating by the time that gateway started, which is not what you're looking for here. Just doesn't feel very planned.
Well, so here's the
So
thing, right? Protoss, out of all the races, your build has to be, it can't be sloppy, right? And so
Yeah.
something really is weird going on here. We're gonna have to really ask him some questions. Say, hey, how come your build is weird? You're not doing this, you're not doing that. What's going on in your head? You know, because we've seen him play many games, right? And he is not as off as he is right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, yeah, to your point with the just build needing to be precise thing. I mean, a lot of Protoss's builds, whether or not you're going to win or lose, is pretty easily decided within the first 5 minutes of the game, and it's all within those few second windows. As oh my goodness, third base already down for.
Well, not only that, his probe died without him moving it. I really think there's some major issue going on with his control mouse or what.
Yeah, maybe just out of it today as well. But yeah, with Protoss, I mean, it's whether or not the Oracle makes it in there 3 or 4 seconds before the spores finish up or the queens get in position, right? It's all about those timings, and that makes a big difference. If you don't get damage done, especially against Zerg, if you don't get the damage you're looking for, then they just kind of run out of control.
Gotta exterminate the pest before they multiply.
Yep, absolutely. As Deepu makes a mistake, I'm sure we all have. I don't know why it became like a trend in the last, it was like 3 years ago or something, where map makers were like, what if you didn't have an Overlord player anymore? And I'm like, why?
Oh, Cyan didn't even finish off the job.
Yeah, he could have gotten that, but
it was with his vision, by the way, when it left. He saw it.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously he was shooting it, so he's somewhat aware it's there. But at the same time, Deepu isn't even, like, he kind of consigned it to its fate, so it may wind up dying anyways, and indeed it will.
Oh, so. He's like, oh, you didn't kill it? I could have left.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which is actually a good sign, right? If you're not even paying attention to it, you conceded it. That means you're worried about production, macroing, etc., which is a good sign.
Right, yeah, the more important things. I think Winter used to call that sort of thing the game of throws.
Yeah,
should have gotten a free Overlord, but then you forgot to get it, but then they forgot to run away with it, so you wind up getting it anyways.
Check it out.
Very fast mailing nest in one, though. Yeah, I just feel like the builds are not lining up well for Cyan.
But, you know, I like this, though, that he's going Glaives, because, you know, even though Deepu's going Banes, it's harder to make it work defending against Glaives compared to, say, having Roaches.
True that. And I do wonder if that's why the wall-off's on the high ground, because I feel like he mostly does this in 2v2s, where getting your natural base, there's not like a convenient wall on a 2v2 map like there is on a 1v1, right?
I see.
So you wind up having to wall on your high ground in your main, and maybe that's why. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pure conjecture, but it could be that's the way he has the build sort of thought out, right?
Yep. Well, he's got Glaives done, and he's got the Prism coming shortly. There it is.
Yeah, investing in charge behind this as well, so he's going to have a follow-up plan. Going up to 6 gateways, though, and he doesn't even have a fully probed natural is
well, you know,
a little dangerous.
I prefer him going all-out blitz now, because he doesn't look sharp at all.
Yeah, that's true. And, I mean, I just don't know. It's only like 5 adepts. There should be a lot more out.
Yeah,
We'll manage to make it up into the main base.
Do the Prism so he can warp in. He's kind of preoccupied with these little skirmishes rather than balling up.
Feels like his heart's not in it almost. I mean, like, this half the unit's kind of wandered away from the other half. Just an off night, perhaps. I mean, he is going to clean up all these lings, but +1's going to be finishing up on the ling soon, and there's like another 20 or 30 coming out. And I think Deepu should be able to kind of overwhelm numbers-wise, and especially with that +1 melee upgrade, it changes the numbers on this Ling versus Adept thing pretty heavily. However, if Deepu doesn't, there we go, add in some Banelings, I was going to say, and we get to a certain amount of Adepts, it could get dangerous. As it is, though, I mean, you tie up all your Lings like that, that gives the Adepts pretty much free reign here, but then he's running away.
Yeah.
There's no reason to run from that, you know? You just target the hatchery down. I mean, if you kill the third base, then you can kind of go home and be happy here as Cyan, but he's really looking for the kill.
Maybe he
and with
tanks
all those Banelings now.
the Stalkers, thanks the Banelings. We'll see if he can do that micro. He's moving it all at once, though.
Yeah. I mean, Deepu has not put his third base drones back to mining, which is nice for Cyan. And Cyan does have a decent army supply here. He does have the Glaives, but the Banelings do get on top now. Only 2 Stalkers remain. Yeah, it doesn't split. I mean, he kind of trades out the army fully, and if he can warp in these 6 more Adepts... but there's just so many Lings. The production's just too good for Deepu at this point. I mean, he's been adding on... he's going to have Bane speed, which is not something you see very often against this type of attack.
Loses the Prism, as expected, right? If you're a little slow, some of us, when we feel fast, we still lose the Prism. You knew he was going to lose his Prism.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to go into charge Zealots now, but I mean, there's Baneling speed already out. He's going for a Mutalisk Spire, I assume. Exact Imagine Corruptors here. Yeah, I mean, the economy's just going to kind of run away for Deepu. Still only on 32 probes is Cyan. Warping in Zealots. I mean, if Deepu doesn't have Banelings ready, then maybe. He is coming across the map, going to get caught by the Zealots a little bit here, but does know that they exist now, so can run home, maybe warp in some Banelings. Although he might not have enough time.
He doesn't have a Prism, so he's just going to send all the way from his natural.
Yeah, I think he should be able to kill the third base here. There's still no Banelings on the way, and even with +1, the Zerglings are not going to be able to contest Zealots here.
Charlots are scary, aren't they?
They really are. I mean, really should have had Banelings out. It took him way too long to morph those in. I think he's just waiting for a Spire, basically. I mean, he wasn't making really much of anything. He's just making a bunch of Spine Crawlers, but he had Larva available. He was just waiting for those Mutalisks to come out.
Oh,
and, I mean, he's going to get knocked down to 2 base.
Yeah.
And not even a cancel, a kill, which is very nice there. I mean, the Mutalisk might just win the game, though. There's going to be 7 Mutalisks out.
Yes,
no Blink. He's not going to have any amount of Stalkers, really. I mean, I guess he's got 2. Does he have a shield battery at home? He does have a shield battery. He's got Stalkers. If the Zealots kind of go in, but I mean, the Baneling and Spine should be more than enough to hold
People even canceled 2 Spines, feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll try to retake this base. Able to.
Oh.
Stalkers do see the Mutalisks. How will we respond, though, is the question, I suppose. Oh, he actually sent in 1 or 2 Zealots. Or no, I think they just chased the drone. But sent a Zealot in, which soaked up like 3 or 4 Banelings, I think. So that's pretty nice for him. I mean, at this level, you could probably just click 1 Zealot in at a time, and they, all the Banelings could slowly just filter out. But busy dealing with the Mutalisks at home, but I'm not sure he has the numbers to deal with them. And if these Banelings get big connections here, as they are likely to... Big connections indeed. Not big enough to fully wipe things out, but if the Stalkers get overwhelmed by the Mutalisks at home, then that should be enough anyways. Still, though, what a messy game.
It is. It's a game of throws for both
Cyan, yeah, if he holds on to this natural base of economy and manages to clear out all the drones, then he's going to be in an alright position
he will,
here.
Man. He's got these Stalkers and shield battery. And he's done so much.
Yeah, I mean, he managed to hold there. He's not targeting the hatchery, though, which I feel is a bit of a mistake. I mean, you have 3 Zealots attacking a Spore Crawler and no Stargates.
He's leaving his base. That's surprising.
Yeah, I mean, I think he does win a base trade. Mutalisks don't kill buildings particularly quickly, especially compared to, like, Zealots. Zealots kind of rip through hatcheries and whatnot, and there's a lot of buildings out for the Protoss player. He's got enough minerals to rebuild as well if he needs to pull back and do that. But I mean, he's got to go up into the main base here soon. As far as the numbers go, it's 11 mutas against 9 stalkers with 4 charge zealots, and then just a smattering of lings here or there. But he's going to lose a muta. He's going to lose all of his economy here.
And he can recall to one of the bases later on.
Yeah, and then he'll have the shield batteries available at home, which obviously
I think he's
changes
off,
the
man.
numbers there quite a bit. Yeah, it's 2 probes to
What is
0
going on
drones.
with
He'll
this
even
game?
kill another muta. No blink as well. Never really had the money to afford it. Good target fire out of Cyan there. And this could be the kind of game where you do start to... I mean, just winning a game like this can kind of sharpen you up a little bit and help you focus. He's trying to target down the right mutas. I'd really like to just see a recall. I mean, he's got no drones.
Yeah.
Oh, but Deepu's just going to GG out.
What a crazy game. Maybe
That
you
was
wake up.
insane.
Huh?
Yeah, I just said that was insane. Was not expecting that, but yeah, I mean, pulls it out there at the end with the charge zealots into the mass speed bank.
Maybe you'll wake up, man.
Maybe. It's funny. It's like every game where one of them has more army supply, they're the one who's gonna lose. Thus far. There at the end of that game, Deepu was pretty far up in army value as well. It's like Cyan in the previous, but a surprising game, a surprising outcome to be sure. Also at the end there, poor Cyan was like 1 or 2 stalkers short of one-shotting the mutas. He kept target firing, and there were 4 mutas all on like 1 hit because barely didn't have enough to take him out with the 1 volley. Still, though, manages to overcome there. I almost feel like, though, with that messed up target fire from Cyan, Deepu probably could have overcome the stalkers there. And if he wipes out those stalkers and has like 5 more mutas, he wins that game. But hard to say. Definitely probably feels like, oh, the Protoss still has 3 Nexi. He has all his production. I have 0 drones. So it can be hard to kind of tell. You can't always be like, well, I definitely killed all his probes. Maybe he had, 15 or so hiding in a corner. It's very hard to do the math. Yeah, tropical sacrifice.
Big one.
Yeah, this map is very large. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of Tropical Sacrifice LE, we have the blue Protoss player. He is
Cyan.
And his opponent, the pink Zerg. Spawning in the top right, he is
Deepu.
And I gotta say, if you're not playing super cleanly in a Night of StarCraft, and then you run into trying to wall the natural base on this map without blocking your Nexus.
Oh,
I think he did it, though. I think he's done it. I think he did it right. I think
it's
so.
okay. I think it's okay.
Yeah.
Just by as close as possible.
Yeah, that's the only right way to wall it, is it has to kind of look like it's blocking, or else you probably won't be able to do your wall off right, and your cybernetics core won't fit.
Oh,
like that.
and the block
Oh,
too.
then
Look at that.
Well,
This is a different Cyan. This is a different
Very
Cyan,
true.
man. In the last game, he lost his probe by just 1 drone chipping at it many times over. This time he walls perfectly, as we think he did, and then he even blocks for how long? 30 seconds?
Yeah, gotta say though, snap reaction by Deepu. He instantly threw his spawning pool down, it looks like, whenever that happened. So he's just gonna go pool and then hatchery. So it didn't just have nothing on for 30 seconds, which is a pretty easy thing to have happen when you get blocked like that.
Yeah, it's annoying. Sometimes I put it down
good
a
reaction.
2 hatch before a pool. I'm like, screw you, I'm gonna go 2 hatch before a pool, and
Yeah.
it does work sometimes.
Yeah, every now and then. It's,
Yeah, look at that. You were right, man. He barely did not block.
Yep.
Amazing.
That's how this map is, unfortunately. It's the nice edge map, really, when it comes to that. I think the thing that's so rough about it is that there's literally... It's not just how close the Nexus is to the ramp, it's that I'm pretty sure there's only like 1 or 2 spots, like a hex apart from each other, where the pylon actually will go that both the Nexus won't get blocked, and you
Oh,
can
he's
make a
got
reasonable
2
wall off,
holes.
which
Oh, man.
I like how he did the loop twice just to be like super sure. Like,
like,
did it
are you
actually go through
kidding
the wrong
me?
side that time? And throws the pylon
That's
down.
funny.
But yeah, it's like either you will block the Nexus or you won't be able to put your gateways and your cybercore in the right spot. Somewhat like that, pretty easily on this map. So definitely a rough one, but I think he maneuvered it decently. I think the pylon was in the right spot. He just accidentally placed that way.
It's odd he made a Zealot, given he had the Cyber there for, coming out, so.
Yeah, that is pretty odd. I don't think he really delayed his gas in any major way as well. He's definitely very worried about Deepu, who is actually going for a Bane bust.
Uh-oh.
And I mean, we've seen a pretty quick shield battery in every game, but will we see it this game? And is the Stalker going to be in the wall? If the Stalker's in the wall off, it makes a Baneling bust kind of look pathetic, because Stalkers take like 3 or 4 times as many Banelings as any other gateway unit, basically.
And let's hope he has a shield battery, which he doesn't. Oh. Cyan, Cyan.
And he's still got time to throw it down, but the Zealot's in the wall. The Lings are coming across. No shield battery starting yet.
He has an Oracle. That'll help.
That's definitely a good start to things. Only 4 or 5 Banelings on the way. He's going to be able to add on a lot, though.
Oh,
Still, he's going up
Cyan.
to 4 gateway units, which is a pretty high count.
This is why you have to scout with the Adept as Protoss.
Yeah, absolutely. Does have the Oracle. Going to be here just in time, basically. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Warp gate's
Here
done.
comes the Bane. Now, the Stalkers can kind of stick themselves in the wall off there, potentially.
Yeah. And takes the
Doesn't look
the
like
hits.
they're going to.
Takes the Baneling hits. He might do it.
Yeah, that's a good start for sure. Unfortunately, warping the Zealots in outside the mineral line, you really like to warp them in the middle and then pull all your probes along with. Still, though, this is not enough damage for Deepu just yet to be happy. He's still only on 20 workers. I was really hoping to see an additional warp in that wall off, you know.
Yep.
With warp gate done, I think he had it available. But, oh, no, he warped in 2 Zealots in the main base, so.
You gotta
did protect
close
some
your
of his
wall. That's your
drones.
first priority.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they are going to leave.
Okay.
Back in the wall off, and he has a Void Ray out.
22 workers killed, though, man.
It's true, but that just puts him on an equal worker count, and now
That's true.
Deepu has to invest a lot of money to be... Well, not that much. Deepu, calm down.
And he doesn't
But
have
a lot
third
of
hatchery.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he just invested 4 of his 20 workers, and, you know, what, 300 or 400 minerals on
Science,
those.
still no shield battery.
spores. Yeah, and the instant out of energy on the Oracle there. I mean, he can re-wall pretty easily, I think.
Indeed.
It's like behind those Zealots. He should be able to put a gateway down right there if he needs to.
Shoot, with,
I'd really
with
like
how
to
much
see
gas
a
he
probe
has,
kind of
man.
standing there.
Sentries.
Yeah. Yeah, getting sentries would be nice as well. The Void Rays do find the morphing Banelings. Doesn't quite manage to kill that one before it gets insta-canceled.
Oh,
Are those
why?
charge Zealots? No, okay.
Voiders are
They
going
seem
the wrong
fast.
way. And he still didn't make a sentry.
Yeah, only warping in Zealots. Maybe he thinks his Cybercore died. That's my only guess.
Oh, luckily
He just
for
doesn't
him.
notice it's there. Yeah, fortunately, did barely survive the Banelings there. Really surprised we're not seeing a sentry here, as now it's just 4
Yeah.
more Zealots. Not
know,
even making charge with this as well, you know?
I think he's just gotta... They're just kind of going by, oh, reaction, let me just warp something, instead of slowing down thinking, hey, what do I really need? Right? That's really the key when you're under pressure. Especially as
Yeah, it's
Protoss.
true. Not enough of those Banelings should make it up.
Oh,
But
but
Deepu's been called. GG!
way to go. And he plays his worst series, I think, but he pulls it off.
Yeah, it was an odd one for sure.
Let's
I
bring
think
him
trying to account for everything, you know, can definitely wind up causing your overall to look a little worse, like he said.
in. Well,
So.
here we go. Here's
Yeah, here
Cyan
we
and
are.
Deepu.
Yeah, so congratulations to Cyan with the 2-1 victory. We'll talk a little bit to Deepu, though. Game 1 went pretty smoothly there. I mean, was the queen walk kind of the plan all along, or was there something that kind of triggered you to do it?
Yeah, no, that was the plan for game 1. Just everything went according to plan. Yeah.
Yeah, and then game 2, were you trying to do like a big Ling Bane swarm, or did you have some idea he was going to be aggressive, so you were getting all
That
that
was the
crazy
plan,
stuff?
but then I forgot to build the spawning pool, which kind of slowed me down a bit, and I was like, all right, never mind, we'll think of something else.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of, you need that for the Zerglings, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, spawning pools, it's an important building for Zerg, I would say.
Yeah.
Don't want to forget that one. Yeah, and then game 3, I mean, just a Ling Bane bust. It felt like you're on the cusp of victory. You did pull out of the base when you still had like 15 or 20 Zerglings in there. Was there a particular reason for that?
I didn't know what units he had. I thought it was all Void Rays and not the I think. I mean, honestly, I think that game was kind of lost after that. I didn't have enough. I wasn't joining up as much as I wanted to because my I put the second base down late because he did the probe thingy. And so I think that game was over from there. I was thinking if I pull the guys out, then maybe he'll like, I don't know, just spend a bunch of money on probes or something, and then I can try and go in and then kill enough probes to be ahead of workers. But it didn't happen. So
Right. Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess in game 3, was the Ling Bane the plan, or was it because you got hatch blocked that you went for that?
no, it was the plan. It got slowed down a bit, but it was the plan. Yeah.
Okay. Sense. Well,
Yeah.
a pretty well done series overall. I mean, it was close games. Game 2, obviously, came down to the wire, really.
Yeah.
Small packs of units, no workers left. But Cyan, I think the Stalker's holding strong there. So very well played overall. A very close series. That was pretty great to watch.
I gotta go though. Good games though. Cyan, good G's. GG.
GG's.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then congratulations to Cyan, our victor. It felt a little, we were talking about it during the games, it felt a little un-Cyan-esque, a little bit more sloppy here and there. Like, I feel like your builds generally, like in the early game, were very clean. But it felt a little bit more, I think probably because you were, as you said in the pregame interview, you have to worry about Deepu doing literally everything. So you can't really cut corners here or there. You're trying to add in this stuff and that stuff to make sure that you're fully prepared. Is that sort of how you felt?
Yeah, and it's something weird. So just like the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure everybody saw it during the 2v2 game with me and Kitty Cat. Like everything for me just feels completely out of sync right now. Like maybe my mind's just everywhere trying to think, oh, is he doing this or is he doing that, instead of just focusing and playing what I know. I feel like my mind just goes in different directions now when I'm playing. So I think that's part of my problem right now.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you obviously did manage to pull it out in game 2 and 3. Close games. Game 1, it just felt like maybe got a little bit impatient there. Went out, I think, like 30 seconds or something before charge was done with a pretty heavy zealot count. Did you feel like he was maybe just going to outnumber you by the time charge was finished up?
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. I was trying to get charge out. I probably should have done charge before I did blink. I think I went blink because I saw the roaches. I thought it would just be easier, and I probably should have done charge first before I did that. And when I went out there, it looked like he had a lot more than what he actually did. So when I looked at the graphs after the thing, my army was way bigger than his at that time, and I think I just totally messed that up.
Yeah, you did have the army supply advantage, and I think maybe if you just waited for charge, you might have been able to push through. But I mean, obviously, even with charge, you're trying to push through your own choke point and everything like that. And then my only other question was, game 2, you walled on the high ground. Is that something with that build in particular, or what caused you to do that?
Yeah, I feel like it's something with the build, so that way if he does Ling Rush or do anything crazy, then I've got something to fall back to right there. And I feel like doing that on a one, well, not really a one base, but having everything in my main, it makes it easier for me to get everything out. I was still late in getting everything out. It just managed to work, and then when I saw the mutas, I just tried to get as many stalkers out as I could because I'm pretty sure I could take those out easier.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's all my questions. KJ, did you have anything for Cyan here?
Well, Cyan, congrats on winning despite, I think, your worst series I've seen you play. So,
Yeah.
nice job pulling it off anyway. And good luck to you the rest of the season.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so we got our Code S coming up. Let's go bring in the players. This is the big one. This is what all want to see.
It's now reaching, I believe, 1 a.m. for Vales,
That's
so
right.
that's exciting.
We're going to start with Code S just because of that. He's in the UK. He's been undefeated. He's looked really strong, so let's bring him in. Joining us now, Vales and Neutrophil.
Yeah, welcome, guys. We'll start off with Vales, the challenger of the Titan of the Code S, Neutrophil. I believe Neutrophil, you've won every Code S you've participated in, correct? Or did you lose one?
I believe I've lost 2.
2? Okay.
Yeah.
I think one was to I can't remember. Seth, right? Seth won one of the
That's
ones you were
correct.
participating in? Yeah.
And
Okay.
then I think I lost a very cool another time.
Oh, yeah, he lost
There
to
you go.
Very Cool. That's right. And this season, he even lost to Dark Menace. And did you lose to someone else? I think he lost to someone else. But anyway.
Yes. Let's see. No, he's 1-1 right now.
Oh, okay.
Third series we're going into here.
Cool.
But anyways, a very strong opponent, Vales. How are you feeling going into that?
How many times champion? 2? 3?
3 or 4, I think.
3 or 4. Wow,
I
okay.
think 3, but I don't think it's 4. Maybe even just 2. For some reason, we can't remember.
Multiple, anyway.
It's definitely at least 3. I can say that. I think it's 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a
It's a
better
lot.
job knowing our FSL history.
How many-
'Cause that's pretty terrible.
I know,
We
right?
don't know.
We need to have someone that's like the fear dragon of the FSL, who can tell you
need a
exactly.
fact
where
person.
everyone was when they played every game and everything
Yep.
like that. Well, anyways, yeah. I mean, obviously a strong opponent. How do you feel going up against Protoss in general?
Probably my weakest matchup, but I'll give it my best.
All right, yeah. I mean, TVP, obviously.
Yeah.
If you had to count all the balance wines that ever happened on Blizzard forums, it was probably TVP would win. that over last.
80% of them, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely Charge, Storm, Colossus, Disruptors. There's a lot to look at there, right? So,
Yeah,
well, I
definitely.
understand that. Hopefully, put on some good games, and I mean, who knows? Like KJ said, undefeated thus far, so looking pretty strong. Could absolutely take it and rewrite history, for the FSL here.
That's what I'm here to do.
But awesome. And then Neutrophil, how are you feeling going up against Vales?
So, I have actually prepared for this match a little bit. I did some practice games against AI, practicing my builds and stuff. And like throughout the week, I've been watching the VODs, so I did do my homework this time. So
Oh,
we'll
wow.
see.
That's the first, huh, ET?
Yeah, that's a rare thing to see. You got to be very scared, Vales. I'm sorry. He actually prepared for you. That's like,
He
I
has
don't know.
respect. He respects you.
yeah, big respect there. That's good to see. That's good to see.
We'll see if the practice matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling about PvT Neutrophil in general?
PvT is always like a coin flip for me because it's either like I'm in the zone for it, or I just like get out microed or macroed. So I don't know. This is kind of iffy for me. So we'll see.
Fair enough. All right. Well, that's all my questions. KJ, have anything for our players before we hop
No.
in?
Good luck to you both. And we've been excited for this the last few weeks. We marked this on our calendar. Good luck. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, ET. What is your prediction?
I gotta go 2-0 Neutrophil. If he's been actually preparing for a match, I feel like it would be remiss of me to not say he's gonna 2-0.
Well, if he's picking Protoss all throughout, I'm gonna say 2-1.
Alrighty.
But we'll see.
And then, map selection's very similar. We got Data C to start, like before. Cosmic Sapphire snuck in, and then Inside and Out to close things out if we get that far. And TVP, I really like TVP as a matchup. Like I said, there's been a lot of balance wine over the years. I remember it was like 2018 to 2020. It was like even the top Terran players were all like TVP is completely unwinnable.
It's a
There's
lot
nothing you
better
can
now,
do.
though. A lot better now
Yes, I
with
think it's gotten
emergence
a
of
lot
Terran.
better. Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll see how they do here. I mean, Neutrophil obviously coming off Protoss win from Atlanta, right? Very hyped. So we'll have to see how it goes. As we are spawning in here in the top right-hand side, the purple Protoss player, he is.
Neutrophil.
And his opponent in the bottom left, the red Terran player, he is.
Veils.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Atlanta, pretty good tournament for Protoss. That's all I'll say. I won't go too in-depth. But even in PvT, it was a pretty good tournament for Protoss, so... Could be,
Well,
it's
it's
okay
good
to
because
be...
there's no Terran. I mean, no Zerg. Zerg was kind of
Yeah, it's true.
dead fast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That was like the first time we haven't had a Rainer in one of the big ESL events in a long time, I think. So, obviously, you know, it felt like, you know, you might get Rainer or you might get Cyril, but you're not going to get them both, right? It's the kind of thing. But if one of them's not there, then all you got to do is get Cyril once, and exactly what happened. With, I got to say, Bunny
was so good.
has just gotten so good. It's crazy. I mean, he's just been someone that's been there for a long time, but really pulling it out in Atlanta. As yeah, an eBay block out of Veils here. Neutrophil not aware of it just yet. So it looks like that eBay is going to be pretty much fully built. Yeah, that's unfortunate there. Did you see? Yep, Zealot's going to get chronoed out. Just has double gas going up pretty quick instead of that fast Nexus. Fair enough. Start poking away at that engineering bay. Looking to block the command center as well, and Veil's only pulling down one worker. It is traditional, so to speak, to pull down two as a Terran player, but instead just going to add it onto the high ground. No unit on the way out of the barracks, a little surprisingly, I'd say. Normally you'd expect to see that at this point. Very fast second gateway coming out for Neutrophil as well. As just an immediate reactor with a second barracks coming down, third barracks as well. So we are going to see a 3 racks out of Veils. For those unfamiliar, this is where you kind of just get a stem, combat shields, and I think even concussive shells in some of the versions. And you just get a bunch of Marine, 3 or 4 Marauders, and you try to hit a timing around stem and get a bunch of damage done. Can kill if the opponent's not prepared, but it's sort of... It's funny, Terran just has these builds that work this way. I was going to say, it's very similar to 2-on-1. Like back when Legacy of the Void first came out and they developed the 16 Marine drop at like 530 or whatever. With the 2-on-1, it was originally like insta-kill all the time. But then the Zergs eventually figured out how to time out their production of drones versus units. And then it became pretty much a you never see it strategy because it's not very good. And 3 racks, I think, is a little bit more like that at the top level, at least. Down here, not as much. But it's just one of those things that was very strong. But once you know what to do and you're capable of executing it and obviously figuring out that's what you're going up against in the first place, then it's not too hard to fend it with very little damage taken. And that said, we do have Charge immediately on the way, which I think is a pretty strong opening against the 3 racks build. I mean, Veils, though, not getting that natural base down particularly quickly, fortunately, due to that probe being down there. Zealot will see the timing on it, so knows exactly when it's coming to end. He's going to try and block it, I think, even as well. I think seeing 6 Marines is probably enough to mostly tip you off to the fact that it's a 3 racks, if you didn't already know. And a shield battery going down as well. So, shield battery, that was another thing, I think. Just shield battery and shield battery overcharge both kind of came into existence during the time period where 3 racks was strong, which means suddenly there's just so much more defensive capability for the Protoss against that kind of thing, because stem timings with 3 racks is all about the just immediate punch power, as we have double factory, surprisingly enough. But, it's all about that punch power of the stem pack. Well, you just have the punch power of shield battery overcharged, which kind of immediately counters that. But unlike the stim, shield battery overcharge leaves, once it's done, all your units fully healed, whereas stim leaves all your units damaged once it's done. So that said, it looks like Veils is pretty much fully pulled out of the 3 racks build. Maybe doubting its capabilities. We do have stim and combat shields finishing up, but nothing particularly on the way across the map, as we're going to go for a hidden base. Will Neutrophil, a classic of Neutrophil, I would say, is the hidden base. He does like to pull that out here and there. Perhaps using Rocker as a bit of a mentor there. Rocker, a very high-level North American Protoss player who's an avid lover of going for corner bases. Have that next going down. And Templar Archives on the way as well. Third base going to go down for Veils too, though. Keeping pace in the economy, of course. We do have the Ghost Academy coming down as well. Veils already marking himself a cut above many of the Terrans in the FSL. As a lot of them say that Ghosts are just too dang hard to micro, and I can't say I disagree. Now, this is a very interesting army composition we're seeing out of Veils here. Hellions, Marauders, Marines, Ghosts eventually. Medevacs as well, of course. Charge Zealots. I mean, once Storm is out, it feels pretty good here, but Veils is going for the immediate hard counter of Ultrasonic Pulse. Whatever that upgrade's called. The EMP upgrade. Who knows? Something. Now, Neutrophil's third base will finish up here shortly. One downside of the corner bases on this map is that there are corner Zelnaga towers, which sort of encourage players to go and naturally scout this base anyways. Especially at the higher levels, you know. Terrans in particular just send a Marine to each tower periodically if they don't already have it taken. So, might not happen at this level, but very well could as well, which is a little bit of a dangerous thing, as there is a Warpin coming in into the main base of Veils, but it's just 2 Zealots, so not likely to get a terribly large amount done. We'll see the odd composition of Hellion Marine, though, so maybe a bit of a tell. These Ghosts are coming out now as well. No Blue Flame coming out for the Hellions, notably, despite getting quite a few of them. Going into Widow Mines, though, I think is definitely a more standardized choice. As we definitely would like to see a pivot into some sort of Robo Splash, I think, in the near future for Neutrophil. That's sort of the name of the game for Protoss, is to kind of keep one step ahead of the Terran's counters to your splash damage. Taking his third quote-unquote base, which is actually his fourth. Very sneaky. And Veils is going to push out now. No shield batteries on the way. Veils is not going to push out now. I stand corrected. I mean, Veils probably thinks he's in a very nice position here. As it is, he's actually in a somewhat mediocre position, but it's not too bad. As Neutrophil will manage to take out the missile turrets that we're building at the edges of the bases. And a very, very nice Zealot drop there. Loses 2 Zealots, kills 7 workers, and will probably die to 2 Widow Mines.
Yeah, he's microing the Zealots to you know, kill the turret makers. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Neutrophil has always had pretty good Warp Prism harass. I've always been impressed by that. That's one of the main reasons he's always been able to take down instability. Is he just always has a prism going into the person's base he's playing against, and that's something she particularly struggles with. So it's made him a very dangerous player. I mean, not that it's exactly a unique trait to suck against drop harass, but it's definitely a strong trait of his. A very good skill to have. As Veils apparently also struggling to get those EMPs off in time. Unfortunately, they hit after the storms had pretty much already blanketed his army. That said, no shield battery. Archon does finish up. Will retreat into his main base. I mean, he can really kind of afford to lose this base. Would not like to lose the probes, and indeed won't. I mean, you can lose this third base with all the damage you're doing on the other side of the map, especially considering you actually have a third base elsewhere, hidden in your boot, so to speak. And pushing up into the shield batteries now is Veils, but Neutrophil not having what he needs to take this fight, I guess. I'm not really sure why he's losing this fight. It doesn't feel like he ought to be, but he is. Stutter stepping a little bit here, but third Immortal coming out is going to be a strong embankment of units here. Continually pulling back the Zealots as well. Oh, sorry, fourth Immortal on the way now down that ramp as he's got double Robo. No Robo Bay, though, perhaps? Yes, it does not look like he has Robotics Bay. We'll definitely want to get that in the near future. Now, Vales has got to be feeling pretty good, and indeed he should be, as his army supply is still double of that of his opponent. Now he's searching for those corner bases, and I think he's going to find it eventually. If he keeps looking, of course. Did take a lot of SCV damage. Oh, a little bit of a pain there, but I mean, if he finds this base, that will be very, very nice for him indeed. Maybe put a nail in the coffin of Neutrophil here. So he's already down 40 supply. His only real advantage is his income, and that would completely lose that advantage for him. Should it be discovered, but it's not being discovered. Instead, Vales is going to go ahead and take a fifth base, so we'll get an economy advantage anyways.
Oh, he finds it.
Oh, and a Marine does find it. Of course, only one Marine does give Neutrophil time to bring his own army over there, should he so desire, which it looks like he maybe does, maybe doesn't. Does pull back now instead. Thought about trying to hold, realizes he doesn't have enough time, I think, basically. And Vales is looking mightily strong here.
Yeah, you know, I like this game for Neutrophil minus lacking Robo units.
Yeah,
Or
it really
maybe more
feels like maybe he
gateways.
could have had a couple Colossi out or something like that
Oh,
for that
he doesn't
fight.
have enough gateways either, I think.
Yeah, what's the current count? 7. That's definitely, I mean, he had 4 bases. You could probably have 10.
Yep.
So, a lot more Zealots. Still, Disruptors are the comeback unit. I remember at Storm Cup, I think it was Epic versus Trigger. Trigger was down like a ridiculous amount in supply and then just kept having Disruptors out on the map, finding pockets of Terran units here and there, and slowly crept his way back into the game. So, absolutely can happen, but got to be pretty top level to pull that off, I think. Still, though, Neutrophil could definitely do it. He's got 2 Disruptors out just outside the scan range. In comes the Terran army here. Trying to warp in additional Zealots before he goes in. Big EMPs do blanket Kurtos' army. As a sizable first Nova there. Second Nova still available. Vales does have to be very careful here. And again, it's just those warp-ins of units for Neutrophil on the other side of the map, kind of keeping him in this game. As a huge Disruptor shot does land. Another one does miss, but he's got a couple more in the pocket, it looks like. Indeed, they go out and get a huge amount of Marauders. And with only Marauders left, really, against 3 Immortals, we'll have to pull back and away. Definitely even the supply out quite a bit. Yeah, indeed. I tell you what, this has got me really curious to see Vales versus Instability down the line, because if there's one matchup that Instability's really excelled at, it's TVP, I feel like.
Yep.
And Vales feels like the first major potential to kind of end her dominance in that matchup. So I'd be curious to see how that pans out. Still, though, Neutrophil might even be able to take him down here as he's doing his best. It's not enough stuff, though. And like you said, not enough gateways. I mean, we got 1,500 minerals. What are we doing, you know? Could surely have a few more Zealots with this army than we do. Big Disruptor hit, though. And, I mean, they're definitely keeping him in this game. 7 more Zealots do get warped in. Still no additional gateways coming down. Is taking a 4th base, though. Has it finished up now. Continuing to probe up. So not too bad.
That Prism
War
stays
Prism.
alive, man.
Isn't that the same Prism? I could have sworn Vales killed a Prism, but maybe not. I think he just barely
did. Then he
did.
F2'd away.
Oh my goodness. That happens to every single one of us.
Yeah.
Every single one of us. Well, I mean, maybe getting a little overly fancy with the micro there. It does lose the Prism.
Too much. Yeah, that's his saving grace. That's bad.
Yeah, he really needed that. I'd like to see an instant rebuild on it, but we're not seeing that just yet. Still, 4 Disruptors, a large bank of Immortals against a heavy Marauder count, 17 Marauders, but I think Vales just has too much here, especially with the add-on of those Liberators. Blink is done, which could help here. Big EMP on to those Immortals. What are the upgrades? I think that might be a big thing as well. It is 2-2 versus 1-1 here, which is Very painful. Big disruptor hit once again. They're just so hard to split against. And they really are just so hard to split against. Anyways, Liberator's putting in work. It's 2-2 against 1-1, like I said, so this bio is doing quite well against the Charge Zealots in particular. But does manage to bypass the Liberators here, potentially, but I'm just not sure it's going to be enough, as all the Immortals just kind of disappeared, apparently. There are 2 out, but they're sitting in the natural base, twiddling their thumbs, if they have those. Will come down now, as there is actually a High Templar with a couple storms available on it. Will those storms land, though? Sizable first hit. Sizable second hit. But unfortunately, I think Veils is easily going to overwhelm here. 180 supply to only 100. And Veils pulls it off here. He's got that macro machine going on behind all this, of course. And GG. Not bad.
Yeah, well done.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, great job by Vale. There's a few things he can improve, but one thing he did do well is make lots of stuff non-stop. And it just overwhelmed the Protoss, who made some nice moves here or there, but they just did not have the bulk.
Yeah, it's true. Once he got up to 5 bases, Veils that is, it's like, if you're killing SCVs in the main base, that's good to a point, but at a certain point with the Terran, the only thing they care about keeping alive in their main base is their production. And that very rarely actually took a hit when Veils was just able to continually pump out just huge amounts of bio. And
he also
doing
made
very
a great
well there.
point too about the no shield battery on that first push by Terran. He probably could have crushed that group if he had shield battery.
Yeah, very true, very true. Shield batteries change numbers a lot.
It's like a automatic for me. Every time I build a new base with a pylon shield battery right off the bat, just because of that.
Yep. Yeah, you gotta do it as a Protoss player. It's an essential part of Protoss's morning routine.
So science pretty good. Not everyone does suffer from the lack of shield battery rightus.
There you go. It's very true. And I mean, we'll have to see how they, how Neutrophil really adjusts, if anything, in this game. Veil's sniffing out the hidden base pretty adeptly. Very neat by him.
He saw that there was not a lot of workers or structures at that third base, so.
Yeah, I think this level is right around where you start to get to the point where sometimes things just don't feel right. Like, kind of tell that something's not right with the way your opponent's army looks, or their bases came down and stuff like that. And you just kind of start to get a feel.
Cosmic Sapphire.
And he did. Yep.
You're watching FSL Season 6.
Spawning in the bottom right-hand side of Cosmic Sapphire LE, we've got
Neutrophil.
And his opponent, the Red Terran, in the top left. He is
Veils.
So yeah, very well done by Veils there. And I think the big thing with it, I kind of alluded to this, but in my eyes, at least, a big part of PvT is the sort of the Protoss trying to keep one step ahead of splash damage of the or the counter to the splash damage that the Terran's coming up with, and that didn't happen in that game, right?
Yeah, he was a little late on. He wanted to do immortal based defense, but that it did okay. But in my opinion, though, he's just too little gateways. That was the big deal.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, even whenever he finally tried to make his counterattack right, he's floating almost 2,000 minerals going into a planetary with like no zealots at the front. And hey, another eBay block here out of Veils. I think the mathematically correct thing to do here is to pull like 6 or 7 probes the instant you scout this, if you scouted this early, but instead just going to go a little bit more lackadaisically with it. Going to just chrono out a Zealot, have the 1 probe there.
Yeah. If
And
you
not a
chrono
second pylon as
Zealot,
well.
you can use that Zealot later, and maybe you only need two probes, but I'm not sure either what the math is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, I mean, getting a lot done there was neutrophil, but I don't know. The fundamentals of just getting the extra production up, maybe getting a little off kilter there. And at this level, to be as on top of just always having a prism in the opponent's pace like that, it's very, very hard, I think, to also hit all your macro steps alongside that.
Oh, you know what? You brought up a good deal about Prism. Reminded me. I think he was spending too much time with that Prism doing damage earlier too, right? And he ended up losing it, and that was a big deal.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, losing the... I mean, yeah, he was pick up microing on the Zealots and stuff. It's like, even if you make it out there, then you put all that time and all your mental focus on that to kill a tech lab on a factory, no less, when he's not making tanks. Which at most is like 50 minerals, 25 gas, I think, to replace. And you're risking, well, not just Prism and the Zealots in it, but everything else that you could be doing for that. So definitely did not pan out as well as he was hoping for, but maybe a little bit of a mistake there. And that kind of felt like the point where it was just like, if you were barely not keeping up with Vale's supply and army when he's having to deal with that Prism all the time, and once he's not having to deal with it, then you're just going to wind up falling pretty far behind.
Yeah, the Terran mechanic, right? You hold the key, keep making stuff, it comes out Q with Protoss. You kind of have to do your warping cycles when they're ready.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you have to kind of go at least, not necessarily home, but you got to look at a power field to warp in.
Yeah.
I have always found in my play that, like, I struggle the most with Terran until I get up to where I just have my production going. And then the macro of the Terran just feels a lot easier because all you really have to do is maybe throw down some mules and
Yeah,
just
once you
hit
get ready. Once you get comfortable, that's true. You do the parade push too, is the best feeling, right, as Terran?
Yeah, it's just hard to get to that setup. They feel a lot more complex to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
Adept will come out for neutrophil. What's going on here? As it is just another 3 racks into a non-committal, I think. Adept will waltz in and get a free SCV, I guess? I'm not sure. I don't know what's going on.
I'm surprised what's going on there.
What is Vale's looking at? Did he...
Yeah, he's a little...
Maybe he fell asleep at his desk. It is late.
Yeah,
1:30 a.m. for him.
Luckily he didn't fall asleep with a major drop running into cannons or something.
Yeah, no kidding. Alt-tabbed. Okay. There you go. And that is why I play in full screen windowed.
Yeah, same here. I have it full screen windowed.
Yeah, because if it's full screen and you alt-tab, then, like, you know, with a
big deal.
decent computer, it takes like 10-15 seconds to alt-tab back in if you don't have that.
Yep.
It's so nice to be able to just instantly tab back in if you hit the Windows key. We were, over the holidays, me and my siblings were playing some StarCraft arcade and whatnot, and I had to borrow someone's laptop because you can't exactly bring a desktop to your parents. But
yeah.
I kept doing it. I kept alt-tabbing, and because the laptop keyboard's just set up so differently, so I'd always accidentally hit the Windows key.
He finally
Anyways.
gets an SCV because he kept
Yeah.
spreading the damage.
Yeah, I mean, makes it out, slows down the command center. Very interesting. Very interesting thus far. I mean, he's kept pace with the supply as well. Isn't really floating a ton of money, so... Like I said, Neutrophil, he's the Warp Prism man. You don't really see a Warp Prism this early on out of anyone else. And this consistently. Knows exactly what's going on as well in his opponent's base. That was another thing I will say. Seeing the eBays come up has reminded me of this from the previous game. Another thing that kind of gave Vales an advantage was the upgrades.
Oh yeah.
1-1 was well ahead of that of Neutrophil's, and even once Neutrophil got 1-1, he had 2-2 well on the way. So a big deal. Grades are a massive difference here as Neutrophil's like looking to go maybe. Oh, and right as Vales looks to go as well, but I think Vales' army is a little bit more go ready. Doesn't quite manage to pick up that Immortal properly, and I think, yeah, this is...
Yeah, this is too risky of a move for Neutrophil. He doesn't have map control, or he doesn't have the power control, right, to be that bold.
Yeah, no Blink, no Charge Zealots into Mass Stimmed Bio is gonna pan out that way most of the time, really, to be honest. And now Vales is up 20 supply, whereas Neutrophil was pretty even prior.
Oh,
and
no shield. Oh, there, man. I was gonna say.
Yeah, although that's too late. Although
Yes.
there's not a whole lot of bio here. Where is? I think Vales hit a supply block maybe because there's just a big gap in where his units should be coming across the map. We'll be able to force the Stalkers back to that natural base, kill this shield battery, and the rest of the reinforcements should make it across the map. And I mean, Vales might be able to just kind of maybe not push into a win, but at least a very advantageous position here. Blink has finished up, which is nice. Good pickup micro, though, on the Immortal. Does keep it alive. And a lot of low-health Protoss units managing to stay alive here. Not quite able to target down the Prism ever, unfortunately. Neutrophil microing is hard out, but I think we're going to see Vales just push through. I mean, he's up 40 supply almost.
Yeah, he didn't even make the Disruptor or Colossus this whole time. So I think he's getting way too preoccupied with microing here, when all the Terran has to do is really just hold that key and keep making more units.
Yep, the parade push just continues coming across the map. And I mean, the defense is fine, I think, out of Neutrophil here. The big thing is just being on the other side of the map like that. No blink.
Yeah, that was the big deal. That's true.
Double Immortals. There's just no real reason to do that. I think it's the kind of thing, and this is just speculation here, but Vales is probably a much stronger Terran than Neutrophil is used to playing.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point.
And so you might be able to get away and even win the game with a push like that against some of the other Terrans in the Kodas. No hate to them. They're very strong players as well. But Vales, you're not going to be able to get away with the same stuff you've been able to get away with in Kodas and a lot of the other players.
Plus, Vales is a very heavy bio player, so you're going to need splash. You can't tool around with all this other stuff.
Vales is confused. I don't really blame him. I think, yeah, it was basically Neutrophil was trying to just poke, dodge in and out, hit a little bit of damage, and instead met the full army right to the face.
Yeah,
might have even thought Blink was done or something there, because if Blink is done there, then you just blink across the rocks, pick up the Immortals and the Prism, and you're out scot-free, right?
Yeah.
If it's not done, then what happened?
You know what I had thought he was going to do since he had the Sentry, was he's going to force field him out and then kill the bottom, right? But that's not what he did. And even here, he's out on the map. Uh-oh, he needs a monster hit here.
Yeah, needs a big hit. Gets a sizable hit, but sizable is not big enough, I don't think.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Vales is just going to be able to push through here to a 2-0 victory. Targets the Prism down this time. He's learned his lesson from the Immortal of the previous push. Will take Neutrophil down 2-0, and that's a scary look for everyone else in this season.
Well, the good news for Neutrophil is it's a regular season, right? And now he gets to feel, you better take this guy more seriously.
Yeah, and I think it's good. We need
some new blood.
Need a little more competition at the top to push the rest of them to maybe start playing again instead of being like, well, I looked at the game for a few minutes before I opened it to play this series.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go interview these guys real quick. Go ahead and ET, get your cam on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Whoops. Congratulations to Vales there with the 2-0 win over Neutrophil. Very well done. Let's talk to Neutrophil a little bit there. Obviously, the big thing I think was game 2. Just I think you were trying to poke and then run away. Did you think? I I don't know, but it felt almost like you were wanting to be able to blink back over those rocks at your back, but then blink wasn't done. Is that sort of what happened, or just walk us through kind of what happened to you there?
So, when I do stalkers against Terran, especially when it's bio, it's obviously not very good against like, Mass Marine or Marauder, right? So what I was trying to go for was just keep the pressure on him. I was just gonna poke the front, and my plan was to just like blink out, like you said, over the rocks or anything like that. But obviously, he kind of caught me off guard. I didn't think he would stim out of his own joke there. So, I did kind of fall behind there when I lost my army, and I wasn't able to defend my third.
Yeah, it was basically just the game was kind of over from that fight there, I think. Game 1, I mean, you were down in supply, but you had really good fights, and then I think the big thing was once you lost your Prism, right? That was sort of the thing keeping him pinned back and ensuring that you were always getting damage behind his pushes. So maybe just losing the Prism, I think, would you agree, is kind of the tipping point of game number 1 as well?
Yeah, and also, I don't think my build was that good. He was kind of thrown off by that early eBay block. So I think if I could have handled like just being thrown off a little better, and then obviously keeping the Prism alive, it could have been a little closer.
Yeah, eBay blocks are definitely, or just Nat blocks in general are definitely a big throw off. Maybe you'll have some sympathy for Zuris in the future. Who knows? But very, very good try, anyways. And I think obviously, you knew it was going to be a tough opponent. Practiced, I think, a little bit extra, not quite enough, but you've still got a pretty good shot, I would say, of making it into the playoffs. And maybe you'll meet again and be even better prepared and have a shot there as well. So, well done tonight, KJ. Did you have any questions for Neutrophil?
Yeah, so do you feel like you're mechanically out there? Because it seemed like you weren't producing from the Robo, or were you just distracted with, microing?
Which game?
Well, games 1 and 2, it seemed like you were microing so much that you were not kind of doing the macro sided things. Or do you not feel that? You feel fine? Remember, we're
usually I
observers.
don't like. Usually I'm not like constantly queuing units out of my Robo. I usually rely on those gateway reinforcements. So I didn't really feel like I wasn't doing anything there, but I did notice I was floating a little, especially during that second game. I had nothing queuing out of the Robo, so.
Yeah, I think what KJ is talking about as well in game 1 is it just felt like you got the storm nice and quick, but then the you adding into Colossus or Disruptors was a little bit late, and you wound up taking a pretty bad fight outside your third that was actually your fourth.
Yeah.
Because you only had Storm to rely on and no like Colossi or anything to back that up. But do you think that was just a little bit of slowness getting into that, or was that sort of the plan? Because you were adding on a lot of Immortals, I think.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. Usually I don't go Storm. Usually I go straight into Disruptor. I haven't been going Colossus lately because a lot of the Terrans I've played just go Mass Viking. So yeah, since I usually go Disruptor, that was because I was playing against the bot before my match, and I just kept getting out microed by the bot. It kept dodging my Disruptor shot, so I was just kind of scared doing that. And I also haven't played against Ghosts in a while, so I was assuming that I could get a lot more damage on my Storm, and I would just transition into Disruptor later. But yeah, he got the Ghosts up. I wasn't really expecting it that early because I didn't see the tech, so I wasn't able to switch as fast.
Yeah, that makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah, we were talking a little bit when the Ghost Academy went down about like not something you very often see. I think there's been a few discussions in Twitch chats in past seasons of like how impossibly hard it is to micro ghosts against Storm and everything like that. So definitely understandable to not exactly be expecting it that quick. But we can go ahead and talk to the man who did get them that quick. Vales, obviously, game 1. I think you probably felt pretty good after taking down his hidden base and his 3rd/4th base.
I second game really caught me off guard, but yeah, game 1 I was a bit weird. I was a bit like, where's his army? Is this his whole army? But yeah, I was just looking for hidden bases really, because I was like, what's the one thing that could kill me here? And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe it might hide something, or I was probably just going to go for a Doom drop, probably, because I thought, he might not be in the main, but then I thought, no, it's probably just not worth the risk. Just play safe. I got the Ghost early because I think It was in the 2v2s. I think he got Storm, so I was like, he'll probably go Storm at some point. I know he likes Charge and Disruptors, so probably should have gone more Liberator heavy, I think, in both games, but I think overall my play was okay, apart from I built 2 factories in game 1. That was pretty bad.
Oh yeah, I was wondering if that was
That
on
was a
purpose.
mistake. Yeah, so I delayed my medevac so much I just didn't push out, and then decided, you know what, I'll just get Halbats. Maybe he's going Charge. Bit of a risk, really, but I suppose that they are really tanky anyway. I suppose the only thing that would have killed me is maybe Mass Archon or something like that, because I didn't really have enough ghosts. I think that was...
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really have a tabs on what army he was making the whole game, which was probably an improvement I need to focus on, definitely.
Right, yeah, absolutely. And then I think game 1 as well, the one thing that kind of kept him alive for a long time, like I mentioned, was the...
Oh yeah, the annoying warp
prism.
Oh.
The prism. We've talked about that in past seasons. Neutrophil's got a nasty prism.
It's really annoying. I put 2 turrets down, he killed them. I put my wood mines down, he avoided them. Just so annoying. I actually was thinking about making some Vikings, but I think he stopped with the harass for like 2 minutes. And then I managed to finally kill it, I think, because he pulled it back.
Yeah, we probably need to petition Blizzard to make it so that the only unit that Widow Mines will over target on, no matter what, is a Warp Prism. You know, like instead of the one target and then the next. So like any amount of.
Just remove it. Can we just remove it instead?
Yeah, that's fair as well. Well, anyways, a very good series. Like we were saying a little bit, I think it's good. You know, things I feel like we're starting to settle a little bit in the Code S over the last season or two of like who the top is going to be and everything like that. So having someone to kind of get in there, mix it up, and put a fire under the other top players' butts to get some practice in. And,
well, I will say thanks for the tip, Neutrophil, to go macro. So I wasn't planning on doing that, but as soon as he said he's weak versus macro, I thought, okay, I'll do that then.
Very fair.
That's true.
Well, that's my bad.
Well,
all right. Well, KJ, how are you feeling?
Yeah, so it was fun to watch. Game 1 was awesome. Awesome to watch. And I'm looking at your APM Veils. You look really fast, but your APM is actually not that fast. So I think you are very effective.
I don't spam.
Yeah,
I don't spam.
yeah.
I try and pre-split. I try to be methodical in what I'm doing. I try to think, what do I need to do next to get to the end game, really. There was a couple of points when I think I just stopped making stuff because I was transitioning, which is maybe bad, but I think overall I've got a little bit better. I haven't really played in a month, which is crazy to think that I played quite well today. But
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was just gonna say, because your APM I'm seeing is 174. Every time I play Terrans, they're way higher APM than me. This is the first time I've seen, this is actually normal APM, and you look a lot faster than that for sure. In fact, I thought you'd be way up there, but that just shows you're making the right decision. So congrats on winning.
Thank you.
And you are my top 3, as I mentioned from the beginning of the season. Well, after I saw that first game, and your victory here over Neutrophil proves that, in my opinion. So there you go. Good luck to you guys the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Yep, good games.
GG's.
All right, so we're gonna go to the last match tonight, which is the Kitty Cat Gamer and Chinpon. I know they're raring to go. They usually start with them first.
Yeah, these poor kids are keeping them up late.
Yeah, but it is Friday, so they're probably keeping them up late. Keeping them up from what do you call that? Valorant games. They're here now.
Yeah.
As Tychus would say, don't matter to me none.
Okay.
There you go.
He stays up late. Chimpon stays
As a
up late.
housekeeping note, yeah, it's true. Oh, I know it. As a housekeeping note, are we skipping the 2v2 tonight? I didn't.
Yeah, so 2v2 is gonna be skipped. It didn't seem like Noob Lord was ready to go. He said on the chat, let's just do it some other time.
Okay, perfect.
So this is it. This is the last match.
The very, very, very last one. So we'll start off with Chi and Pone. How are you feeling about this match?
Oh well, I can't even explain how well I'm feeling about how good I'm feeling about this.
Awesome. Good to hear. So you're feeling pretty confident, eh? Would you say you've improved a good bit since the last time you faced Kitty Cat Gamer, or have you sort of hovered around the
A
same level?
lot.
A lot. Okay. All right. And Kitty
I
Cat,
think.
how are you feeling about the match? Have you been practicing?
I've been practicing a bit more. I'm also feeling pretty good about this match.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Well, we've definitely had some of the more exciting, I'd say, Code B series I've seen between these two. So I'm excited to see what happens here. KJ, do you have any questions for our players?
Yeah, so let's start with Kitty Cat. Kitty Cat, did you get any tips, coaching from, even though he plays Protoss without shield batteries? You know, what did you get any coaching from Cyan?
A little, and he's helped me like build some stuff faster and learn how to like do other stuff with the buildings.
Nice, nice. And my question for Chien Pong, he messaged me, I think late last night. He actually messaged me. I saw this on my phone. It popped up. I was like, what? This is a Battle.net message. Who's messaging me here? And it's Chien Pong. He's like, I think I figured it out. I'm gonna be Zerg, or my main race or something. I think he's like, he loves Zerg now. So my question for you, Chien Pong, is, are you playing Zerg, Protoss, or Terran? Because it seems like you play all of them now.
As you've seen, I'm switching races as fast as you can snap your finger. So I think I'm gonna stick with Zerg or just go to random.
Okay, we got another Deepu here. We'll see what happens.
It's true.
All right. Well, I think we are pretty much ready to hop in then. Just setting up the lobby. So we'll go ahead and deafen our players, I suppose, and we'll get back to y'all after the series. Good luck to you both.
I'm trying to make the lobby, but it says my status is locked. That's weird.
Oh, I made one and invited you. Maybe that's why. I've got the players.
Go ahead.
In.
I'll just join yours.
Yeah, I've got everyone in except you.
Oh, okay. That's why. That's why. It's weird. It says I'm locked, which is weird. You know, normally we just say something else. But anyway.
All right. So we're starting off on Moon Dance. And Chien Pong saying, you know what? I'm going to play as Zerg, and then is selected Terran. There we go. Swapped as Zerg. I got to say, I don't know if their play has improved since their last match, but Kitty Cat Gamer's microphone quality has made massive strides. I heard every syllable.
Early Christmas
I can't remember. Maybe. I seem to remember the last season. It was like I basically just had to kind of guess what the replies to my questions were. That's good to see. That's good to see. Now, this was the player, of course, that Chien Pong debuted against with a proxy 2-gate, except it wasn't proxied, it was at home, and he walked the Zealots across the map and won. So we'll have to see. I think they've both improved leaps and bounds since.
Oh yeah, totally different players by now.
All right,
totally different races.
Yeah, it's true. Kitty Cat Gamer, at least, consistent. But anyways, in the top left, we got the purple Zerg player. She is
Kitty Cat Gamer.
And her opponent in the bottom right-hand side, he's feeling himself tonight. He is
Chien Pong.
I can say he's always been that way. I remember he used to regularly tell me that he thought he could take me on. He's like, I know you're GM, but I don't know. I've got my cheeses are really good. I'm like, okay.
I got some builds.
Well, I just tell him I'm too scared. You know, you can just pretend you won. I'm scared to play you. No, that was always my response. Anyways, we're going across with drones. Is this supposed to be like one of those ones where you build spines? Maybe these are a little early to do that.
So
but this could be that.
Let's see if he pulls. She pulls a Stu Blue, where she runs away all her probes, for drones instead of fighting, right? Because she has a lot
Possible.
more.
Oh yeah, he's planning on hiding spines.
Oh man.
So, for those that are
Ooh.
not aware, the hatchery's vision. Oh my gosh, like sees them. But does she see them? The hatchery's vision does not actually fully cover the creep, although he didn't build them right on the edge, so they'll be seen anyways. But the hatchery's vision doesn't fully cover the creep, so you can technically build 2 or 3 spines without the opponent actually having on their main base creep. In this case, he didn't build them far enough away, but even so, she's not reacting. If these get up, she's dead, like 100%.
Yeah, she's not noticing. She's not looking at it at all. So that's perfect game plan.
Oh
for
goodness.
Change it for.
They're just outside of her camera.
Yeah, she's looking way.
Oh my
all the way
god.
up, so.
This is. I think she just saw it. Maybe. Yeah, she just now saw it. Oh. I've died to this as well. Not the ones where you can see them, but whenever it's just outside of your vision range, and by the time you realize it's been too late. As this is not looking good for Kitty Cat gamers, Zerglings are even going to be coming across the map now as well. And, well, Chien Pone, also known as Cheese and Pone.
Oh, that's right.
Definitely living up to his name here.
Yeah.
Being ridiculously aggressive.
I'm sure Papa Cyan's gonna say, hey, look, you need to go pool first, and you need to play safe.
Yeah, it's true.
She's going through her builds and not really looking at the map, right?
Yep. Which is normally a good thing, I think, at this level, but against Chien Pone.
Gotta watch out for
Can
Mr.
definitely
Chien Pone.
Yep, absolutely. He's got no heart. He will cheese you every time. Now, I assume, yeah, we'll see the reposition of the spines.
He's got the spirit of Haas in him. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. Oh my gosh. Derping around a little bit, but yeah, I mean, now the Lings come in. And that is going to be just too much, unfortunately, for Kitty Cat Gamer here. It may be a very quick series. I think ZVZ cheeses, aside maybe from Cannon Rushes, just have the most... Well, even more so than Cannon Rushes, I would say. Just have the ability to end things fast.
Well, Zerg Rush is a thing, right? Especially back in the days of 6 pool.
Yep, absolutely. And, yeah, I mean, I think that's like, with the Cannon Rushes, it's like, at that level, a lot of the times, in theory, yes, it's as explosive as you're good with it. Most of the time, with the lower level Cannon Rush, they start, like, 3 bases away and then spend 10 minutes crawling the cannons across the map and somehow still get there before their opponent has a single military unit.
Yeah.
But Zerglings and stuff like that, or Ling Rushes, are just so much easier to execute because of the way that Zerg is set up compared to Protoss, that even at that lower level, the cheeses just hit so much harder, so much faster, and cause things like that to happen. So definitely unfortunate for Kitty Cat Gamer there.
You gotta learn all the things they throw at you, and you can't just macro every game, right? So.
Yeah, it's absolutely true. And unfortunately, players like Chien Pone make some people learn that a little bit faster than most people wind up having.
You see, ET, when I was playing ladder for a while, I just did not want to deal with all the shenanigans. I always opened pool first. And then I rose up, and then I started to figure out what was up, and then slowly pull back the defensiveness. So that's not a bad idea to start, or be aggressive. If you're aggressive first, it changes things.
Yeah, it's true. It definitely has potential.
All right, game 2.
Unfortunately, not working out right there. But Waterfall, I gotta say, I'm surprised to not see that vetoed against Chien Pone of all people. I am going random, he said.
Yeah, he feels pretty good. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go random.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Although that's almost more scary if you know that your opponent's gonna cheese you. Now you don't know remotely what kind of cheese it's gonna be.
Yes. Are you sometimes do you send, back before you can reach GM, send a drone to scout?
I don't think I ever did. Actually, I didn't, because I was a student of End of Line, who back in that day, even now, he'd do the early pool, relatively early pool into an immediate spine crawler in your natural base and 6 lings right off the bat in every matchup. So it was at my level even enough to kind of overcome most of the early aggressions. So
Got it.
that reason only, I didn't ever do that. As we are spawning in the bottom left-hand side, we've got the purple Zerg player. She is
Kitty Cat Gamer.
And her opponent spawning in is Terran and going for a proxy Rex. It is the yellow Terran player.
Chien Po.
Now that I am back up on the East Coast, some of my little siblings come and stay over, and so I get to watch Chien Pone live as he horribly cheeses every single one of his opponents. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a proxy barracks. He's liked the proxy Reapers lately. I told him we have, Skylar or Top Gun on our team, so he's following the lineage of the proxy Reapers.
Yeah, proxy Reapers, man. That was a pain to deal with, especially back in the start of Legacy of the Void, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The most nerfs it ever took to get a unit out of the meta, I think. Only gonna be proxy 2 Rax Reaper. Kitty Cat, of course, not aware of what race she's even up against at this point, but did go pool first. So that's a good start against this. And I wouldn't even be surprised to see her just get like a really quick spine crawler, which would kind of completely shut this down if she did. Oh, goodness. The pair of Fenrir and Chien Pone do have one thing in common, which is making add-ons on your proxy barracks when you really probably shouldn't. Oh, man. Well, that will delay the Reapers by a good bit, which whenever you're already up against an early pool could be bad. At the same time, Kitty Cat might not feel like she needs to be worried.
Yeah.
And just because you went pool first doesn't mean you actually make the units that it allows you to make, so you can still wind up dying to this sort of thing, as there's going to be 3 Reapers at a time. This reminds me of, I think it was Wednesday night, he was staying over and had like 3 barracks, 1 with a reactor proxied against another Terran player, and he's like microing his heart out with like 2 or 3 Reapers in the guy's main base. And I'm just watching as he's got like 600 minerals and 500 gas. And he's not making a single Reaper. He's just microing like 2 Reapers. I'm like, if you just hit, he even has a hotkey, like a control group for his barracks. I'm like, if you just hit that and hit R a few times, this game would be so over. But instead, it was way closer than it had any right to be. That's still his thing, is microing way, way, way harder than probably necessary. They'll come up into the main base of Kitty Cat Gamer, targeting down drones to start even. Not even going to fight the Queen. Might wind up losing a Reaper, and does indeed. And of course, what did I say? He's got enough money to make 3 Reapers right now, but instead he's microing his 2 Reapers and his 1 Reaper. You usually see he'll leave the base. He's going to finish dealing with those, and then there we go. 3 Reapers.
ET, it's more fun to micro Reapers than...
It's true. Building Reapers is such a bore. It's a lot more entertaining to micro them than it is to make them. Doesn't have a second gas, by the way, but does have 4 barracks, 1 with a reactor. Which is way more than you can actually produce, unfortunately.
Yeah, you definitely need that.
But if you float money, like Chien Pone does, then technically having the 4 barracks with the reactor is...
Especially if you want to wait till after your micro. You're like, okay, I need to make stuff. Boom! Instantly, you have a bunch in queue.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And, I mean, 5 Reapers can get a lot done. There's not a whole lot of Lings up in the main base. They were all down in the natural base, which means this Queen may get taken out. Instead, does just grenade her away. Has to pull back a little bit there. Good Reaper pullback micro there out of Chien Pone, who does get the Queen. And taking down Lings as well. Poor Kitty Cat Gamer cannot catch a break against the aggression here. A Roach Warren on the way. I do like the choice, but I think it came down a little later than it needed to, potentially. Oh, wow, he actually made more Reapers, I want to say. Small applause. That was good. He made more Reapers while still microing these Reapers, so... Big ups to him. Oh, man. Doesn't even kill one of the Reapers there, unfortunately. More and more drones are going to fall now. Down to only 17. Does have a lot of speedlings out, though, and Reapers not very good against those. 4 roaches as well, and she may stabilize. And one thing as well with Chienpone, I think, is that while he is able to macro, if he started off by cheesing you, then he just, like, never does. Like, right now, he could probably throw down, like, 3 command centers and be fine. But he's not going to do it. He's going to keep going, and then he's going to GG out if he doesn't.
It's more fun, man.
It is more fun. That is very true. And then it just means that you can cheese them a 3rd time in game 3 if you lose this game. So it's really just the best. Oh, there we go. Instead, he queues up every single barracks full of Marines.
And
adds on
5
a little
depots.
labyrinth. Yeah. Oh, and those are even queued by the SCVs.
Oh, don't get trapped.
Yeah, it doesn't want to get trapped. However, does manage to get a few drones. Loses a Reaper. Good grenade there. Beyond. Let's make it out only losing 2 or 3 Reapers. And every worker kill is so painful for Kitty Cat here. As she's already on fewer workers than he is. An additional 4 depots behind those 4 he just made, so he'll go up to a nice 38 out of like 120 available supply. Sorry, only 100. Thing. 4 more drones die, and this is the thing at this level, right? Is I mean, we saw it in the previous game where Kitty Cat Gamer didn't even notice the spines until they were finished, right? Whenever you have these extremely mobile Reapers, then by the time the opponents realize that they're there, they've already killed 4 drones. Keep rotating back and forth, and that's exactly what he's doing here. Continually making more Marines behind it, although that production is slowly coming to a halt. There we go, does queue them up one. And I think he might be able to just overcome with sheer numbers here, as Kitty Cat's trying to add on more drones, but no more SCVs being made. It's just army. We're looking at 23 Marines to 22 Zerglings, 5 Roaches, and a Ravager. I guess also 5 Reapers is something. In he comes to the base. And that's a lot of Zerg. I think she... Oh, but an excellent backstab by the Reapers. That's actually...
Oh, there's 2 queens there.
Very astute. 2 queens. If there's transfuse micro, I think that's good for the queens. But as it is, instead, I think both will end up falling. And the Reaper Grenade's forcing a retarget on the AI there of the queen. Means that that Reaper will stay alive. Kills both queens. Does lose a lot of Marines. Kitty Cat is up in workers. And, yeah.
Oh, look at her split. You know, I bet
Yeah.
you this is the first time she's had to deal with these Reaper shenanigans. So.
Oh yeah,
she-
almost
she's
certainly.
gonna have to learn. You know, and she's beginning to learn how to deal with it. If you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a similar thing because I started playing. I started playing ladder in like 2015 after the first initial disruptor meta kind of dropped out, right? So I never practiced. I never knew how to play against disruptors. So the few times I'd ever run into a Protoss player who would like blink disruptor, I'd just lose like 30 roaches to the disruptors every fight, and I didn't know how to split it all, and I'd die super hard because I just never played against it. And that's kind of what you run into at this level, right? Is you've got those initial learning curves. I think she's held though, and I think she's
held.
33 army supply to 38. Although with the army split, like Chienpone has forced with the Reapers here, if he can get a good fight against the initial Zerglings, then maybe it'll help even things out. Oh, and she's so worried about the backstab of Reapers, but there isn't one this time. It's just the Marine.
Yeah.
Losing all her queens once again. We'll lose the Ravager as well. And oh, the Roaches red
the
again!
move. Mistake.
Oh, no. Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, unfortunately, with the move command there. I mean, it was the psychology, right? Little Reaper, he's, or not Little Reaper, Chienpone is an expert psychologist here. Trained her into always splitting her army half and half, and then went all in at the front and won against only half of the army of Kitty Cat Gamer, and now in a commanding position. That is so unfortunate. You finally learn, you're like, all right, now I got to split. Now this army's got to stay up here to deal with those Reapers that are going to come in. And then there's just no Reapers. It's just Marines all day. And what did I say? Not a single extra command center was made. He lives and dies by the sword.
That's right. Welcome to Code B, guys. It's more fun to watch if you think about it.
Yeah,
In some
very
cases.
entertaining indeed. GG. Qianfeng does take it.
Alright, let's bring him.
Yeah, real quick. Definitely feels we did not get to see the real strength of Kitty Cat Gamer there, as Qianfeng does take it 2-0 with the aggression. We'll talk to Kitty Cat a little bit first. I think, it's I don't think Qianfeng has ever let you play your game a single time in any of the series you've played. It's always putting you on the back foot and making you defend. And both games really nearly able to do that, but it just barely managed to bowl you over. Game 1, obviously, just the spine crawlers kind of took you out. Game 2, I think it was the splitting of the Reapers and the Marines just kind of got your army out of position. We were getting to the point where KJ and I were both saying, now she's held. I think she's going to win this game. And then the split came out and kind of unfortunately took you there. What were your thoughts about that series overall, Kitty Cat?
Sorry. Were you asking me?
No, I was asking Kitty Cat.
Okay.
Sorry, would you
Are you
ask
there,
again?
Kitty
I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't hear
Oh,
for some reason.
sorry. Yes, just kind of asking how you felt about that series overall. It kind of felt like Game 2, you were finally starting to get the hold. But then obviously you're trying to split your units all over, and unfortunately he came in all at once in the front. But how do you feel about your performance overall against, obviously, aggression and cheese is pretty hard to hold. But how do you feel you did overall?
I think I did better than I normally would have, but I've never dealt with cheeses like that, so it's kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I think KJ was even saying that in Game 2, right? You probably never played against Proxy Reapers ever, and it will probably be a long time, unless Qianfeng does it to you again, that you'll play against them ever again. So that's kind of his thing, though, is throwing out all those builds, and you got to be able to defend on your feet, so to speak. But it's a lot easier said than done. So a good try overall, and I think you still have some good chances throughout the rest of the season, hopefully. As if you can kind of get in there to play your macro game, I think you're a pretty strong player for the Code B. That said, Qianfeng does manage to win it there. Everything kind of going to plan there for you?
Yeah, pretty much. I actually wasn't thinking of doing that split. I was like, wait a minute, she's got roaches. So those roaches are just gonna melt my Reapers when my Reapers try to come in there. So I was like, well, I could keep building Reapers, but then I'd lose. So I'm gonna build Marines. So I decided to build Marines and split with the last Reapers I've had. So the micro with the one Reaper at the end was not that good. I was hoping that I'd be able to distract her with that Reaper, so she wouldn't even look at the Marines.
Right, yeah. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but what happened there at the end is because you'd done the previous attack where you split the Reapers into the main base, a large amount of her roaches and the Ravager she had were sitting in the main base. And so the Marines were able to jump on top of the Zerglings and a few roaches that were down low. And obviously, your whole army against half of hers is a good fight for you. So you managed to take it out there. But so everything kind of went to plan, looking good. How are you feeling about your chances throughout this season? Are you hoping to take it down once again, I believe, correct? Yeah, take it down again?
How are you
feeling?
I'm hoping to win twice more. So then, just like Neutrophil, against Instability, you guys will be like, go whoever is fighting Qianfeng! Yes! But
oh, there you go.
Fine.
You want to be the king
guy
of the hill.
Who's rooted against. Yes, the king of the hill.
Fair enough. KJ, did you have any questions for our players here?
I just want to say some things that are cool. Kitty Cat, you did make that adjustment in Game 2. I think you did really well there for someone who's never dealt with Reapers, right? And I think you were just 1 or 2 moves away from really just stabilizing and being unkillable You know, so you just barely missed it. So I would watch the replay or the VOD with Cyan, who explained to you. But I think you did really well. Game 1 is tough, right? Because you just never saw it. And so there's just no winning after that, just once you see that. But other than that, that's good that you get to see different cheeses, because not everyone will play the way we all expect them to play. So good seeing you. And Chempo, nice job with the creativity. Good luck to you the rest of the season. All right, guys. Good.
All right. I think we'll go ahead and move into our closing statements. Going to look at what we've got ahead of us in the following week.
Yeah, let's do that.
I was muted. Sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
I accidentally muted myself.
Good job,
but
we'll see you next
time.
See you next time.
Well done. Good luck. I will turn off my cam now.
All right, so let's talk about the next few games coming up. But let's recap actually what happened tonight.
Yeah, so we started off with our Code A match. We kind of jumped up, down, and around and everywhere else, but we start off with Cyan versus Deepu. Cyan taking that one down 2-1. As I think we both predicted. So well done by him. Looked a little hairy there in Game 1, but managed to clean it up and defend in Game 2 and Game 3 and win it out. Vales versus Neutrophil, the new king on the block, so to speak, or the new I forget what it's called. Anyways, the new guy on the block, Vales 2-0 against Neutrophil, one of the strongest, if not the strongest character we've had in the Code S over the last couple seasons. So definitely a scary result for all the other players. It's not just enough to beat Neutrophil to win a season of Code S anymore. Or, well, Neutrophil and Dark Menace and Instability, arguably. But now there's Vales, too, so throwing yet another player into the mix. And our first top contender, who's a Terran player, I would say, really, that we've had. Looking like he could pretty easily win the whole thing. And, of course, closing it out, we had our Code B, Chien Pone there, 2-0 versus Kitty Cat Gamer with some all-out aggressive strategies. And looking pretty good.
All right, that'll do it. And then next week, on Wednesday, we only have two matches, so we're gonna have a special show match that Hyper Turtle and them are gonna try to figure out for some of the FSL players. So stay tuned for that. But we'll have Hyper Turtle versus Stu Blue, and then Neutrophil versus Sir Maligan.
Yeah, both exciting looking matches. Looking forward to those.
All right, and then the Friday match next week, I will be at Home Story Cup, by the way.
Oh,
so we may need to have someone cast this one instead, or postpone it again. So we'll see what happens. But that's what we got going on. ET, thanks for casting tonight.
Yeah, always happy to be here.
All right, and talk to you guys later. What's up, guys? We're gonna talk to the FSL people here. Who's playing?
Hello, my name is Little Reaper, and I played Protoss, and I've gotten a Platinum 1.
Nice.
Hey, I'm Chien Pone. I play Protoss, and I am Gold 3. Well, I've achieved Gold 3.
Nice.
Hey, what's up?
Tell me your name, game name, your ranking, what race you play.
I'm Dominic. I'm Deepu. I play everything, and I'm Plat 1, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
Hello, I'm Ethan. I go by ET. I play Terran. I'm like Silver 2. So,
nice.
Menace, Zerg, Diamond 1.
Right.
Hyper Turtle, Platinum Random.
Nice. Tell me your game name.